You've probably wondered, how does a simple idea turn into one of those super fast, really smart apps that we use every day? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. We're going to look at the whole playbook, from the very first designs in Figma, all the way to using the power of Next.js, and even sprinkling in some of that AI magic. All right, let's get right into it. Yeah, that really is the big question, isn't it? Because building a great app these days, it's just not about the code anymore. I mean, that's part of it for sure, but it's really about creating an experience that just feels right. It's about picking the right tools to make it incredibly fast, and the really exciting part, weaving in artificial intelligence. So let's follow that path together, step by step, from the initial sketch to a fully functional, intelligent app. Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, think about it like this. Every amazing building, whether it's a skyscraper or just a house, it all starts with a blueprint, right? For us, in the world of software, that blueprint is all about UX and UI, user experience and user interface. This is the stage where we figure out not just what the app is going to do, but more importantly, what it's going to feel like for someone to actually use it. And before we get to the fun stuff like colors and fonts, we got to lay down some ground rules. These are our guiding principles. First up, usability. That's just, can people actually use this thing without wanting to throw their phone against a wall? Then there's accessibility, which is huge. It's about making sure our app works for everyone, no matter their abilities. And finally, visual hierarchy. That's the sneaky, subtle art of making sure people's eyes go exactly where we want them to. You can almost think of these as the laws of physics for our app. All right, so you've got this gorgeous design mocked up in a tool like Figma. Now what? How does that picture actually become a real clickable app? Well, it all comes down to a really smooth handoff process. It kicks off with those pixel-perfect designs, then moves to exporting all the bits and pieces, the assets, with clear instructions. And it all culminates in developers getting clean, organized code they can just build with. No guesswork needed. It really is the bridge that connects the idea to the final product. And I really want to hammer this point home. Accessibility first design. This is so important today. This isn't just some checkbox you tick off at the end of a project. No way. When you build with inclusivity baked in from day one, you actually, almost by accident, end up with a better, stronger, more user-friendly product for literally everybody. It's where empathy and just plain smart design meet. Okay, blueprint's done. Now it's time for the fun part, styling the build. I like to think of this as the interior design phase. We're picking out the paint colors, the light fixtures, all the little details that give our app its unique personality. And for this job, a ton of developers, myself included, are reaching for a tool called Tailwind CSS. But this brings up a classic developer headache. I'm sure you've been there. You have a beautiful design, but how do you turn that into code without creating a total mess of custom style files? You start out all organized, and then before you know it, you're just drowning in CSS that's impossible to maintain. There's got to be a better way, right? And here it is. This is the better way. On the left, you see the traditional way. You've got your styles in one file, your structure in another, but look at the right. That's Tailwind. It's what we call a utility-first approach. You're basically building the design with these tiny reusable classes right there in your HTML. What does that mean for you? It means you build way faster, and you almost never have to switch back and forth between files. So why is this so popular? Well, it boils down to 3 huge wins. First, you can prototype new ideas at lightning speed. Second, your final app is actually smaller and faster because Tailwind automatically strips out any styles you're not using. And maybe the biggest win of all, it keeps your design consistent. Everyone on the team is forced to use the same building blocks, the same colors, the same spacing. It's a total game changer for team collaboration. All right, so our app has its blueprint, and it's looking sharp thanks to our styling. But now we need to build the actual engine. This is the framework, the plumbing, the electrical, the whole core structure that makes everything actually work. And for our project, that powerful engine is going to be Next.js. Now, if you've been around Next.js for a while, you'll know there's been a massive shift recently. We've moved from the old Pages router to the brand new App router. And this isn't just a minor tweak. It's a fundamental change in how we build apps. It lets us do much more complex layouts, and the real star of the show, it introduces something called server components. And trust me, these are a complete game changer when it comes to performance. So what on earth are server components? Okay, think of it like this. Server components do all their heavy lifting on the server before anything even gets sent to the user's browser. It's like pre-assembling a piece of furniture before you ship it. The results? The user's device has to download way less code, which means the page loads much, much faster. We only use the old-style client components for the stuff that absolutely needs to be interactive, like a button you can click. And the payoff for all this clever tech? Performance. A massive boost in performance. Next.js just handles so much for you automatically, right out of the box, like optimizing your images and splitting up your code. All this stuff helps you nail those core web vitals, which are just the metrics Google uses to see if your site provides a good experience. And a good score is not just great for your users, it's also a big thumbs up for your SEO. Okay, let's take a step back. We've designed our app, we've styled it, we've built the engine, it's basically ready to go. But a beautiful house is kind of useless if it doesn't have any land to sit on, right? We need to put it on the internet. And that's where Vercel comes into the picture. It's the platform built by the same people who made Next.js, and it's designed to make deploying and hosting our app incredibly simple. And I'm not kidding when I say simple. The beauty of Vercel is this ridiculously easy workflow. Step 1, you push your code. That's it. Vercel sees that new code, automatically builds your app, and deploys it. And boom, just seconds later, your site is live for the world to see. It completely gets rid of all those old, painful deployment nightmares. It just works. But Vercel is more than just easy deployment. It gives us some serious superpowers, like edge functions. Now, what does that mean? It means we can run our code not on some single server in one location, but on a massive global network. So if someone in Tokyo visits our site, their request is handled by a server right there in Asia, not all the way across the world in, say, Virginia. This makes your app feel instantly fast for every single user, no matter where they are on the planet. All right, now for what I think is the most exciting part of this whole journey. We've got a beautiful app. It's incredibly fast. It's available to the whole world. We've built a fantastic house. But what if we could make it a smart home? This final layer is where we bring in AI to make our application not just functional, but truly intelligent. So a perfect example of this is something called semantic search. Forget just matching keywords. This is about understanding the meaning of what someone is looking for. And the process is actually pretty straightforward. You take your content, your articles, your products, whatever, and you feed it to an AI model, like one from OpenAI. It spits out a list of numbers, called an embedding, that represents the meaning of that text. You store those numbers, and now you can search for ideas and concepts, not just exact words. Once you can do that, a whole new world of possibilities just opens up for the user. Your app could literally change its layout or the words on the screen to better match who's using it. It can start recommending things before you even search for them. We could even get the AI to create 5 different versions of a new feature and automatically test which one people like the most. The app stops being a static thing. It becomes alive, constantly adapting to the user. Of course, with all this incredible power comes some pretty big responsibilities. We can't just plug in AI and walk away. We have to think about the ethics, making sure our models aren't biased, being transparent with our users, and respecting their privacy. And then there's the practical side of things, like cost. These AI models can get expensive, so you have to be smart about monitoring how much you're using them and finding clever ways to save money, like cache and common requests. It's all about building powerful features that are also sustainable and responsible. And there you have it. The whole journey, from a simple idea to a real, live, intelligent app. We started with a solid UX blueprint, gave it a sleek design with Tailwind, built it on a super fast Next.js architecture, and then gave it a brain with AI. This is really the stack for building amazing web experiences today. Which, of course, leaves us with one last, really exciting question to ponder. What does tomorrow look like?